Okay, here we go, ladies and gentlemen. The final episode of SmackDown before the SmackDown exclusive Bound for Glory pay-per-view. And it's the go-home show for SmackDown as well as SmackDown Week 14. And so, ladies and gentlemen, as advertised on both Raw and A.A.W, we definitely do have a great, most likely about to be a 5 to 6 star main event between number one contender for the United States Championship, Austin Aries, taking on number one contender for the World Heavyweight Championship, Dolph Ziggler. So these two definitely gonna pull off an incredible contest later on tonight. Aries challenging, of course, Jack Swagger for the United States Championship that Aries has been trying to get ever since the United States Championship made its debut in Universe mode a couple weeks ago in like week 4, 5, or 6 or something like that. I don't know. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, we need to go to a ring because Dolph Ziggler, he has something to say acknowledging his world title matchup against current world champion A.A.W. So let's listen in. Ladies and gentlemen, Dolph Ziggler, everybody. Of course, he has been trying to win the World Heavyweight Championship ever since mostly the beginning of this universe mode. And well, Ziggler getting ahead of himself, soon to be world champion in Ziggler's words. Of course, ladies and gentlemen, Dolph Ziggler. He was inside the triple threat for the World Heavyweight Championship back in week 6 against both Ryback and A.A.W. A.A.W. ended up getting the victory in that pay-per-view, and ultimately, I believe he made Ziggler tap out to a half-leg crab, but Ryback did do the ultimate damage because Ryback was actually the most dominant one in that matchup. But ladies and gentlemen, of course, Ziggler faced off against Austin Aries here tonight. A.A.W. sadly not here tonight, your World Heavyweight Champion. He's off training because he and Ziggler have both had a whole lot of matches because they have been really the face of SmackDown, which makes complete and utterly sense. As you see right there, Ziggler just praising A.A.W. for a short second, and ladies and gentlemen, the man he faces later on tonight, Austin Aries, the greatest man, the self-proclaimed greatest man to ever live, acknowledging his matchup against Swagger. As you see right there, Aries focus on the matter at hand. Well, Austin Aries does have a point right there. Winning his matchup against Ziggler. Ziggler, you may be a show-off. And so, ladies and gentlemen, Austin Aries getting to a point here. And ladies and gentlemen, the crowd cheering for both Ziggler and Aries. They're pretty torn. They're pretty torn between these two. These two are definitely fan favorites of the SmackDown crowd and universe. As you see right there now, Dolph pointing at Austin Aries. Remember, these two meet one-on-one in the main event here tonight. Nice choice words from Austin Aries, telling Ziggler to acknowledge him, Austin Aries. Telling him to acknowledge him in the main event before he even gets too hype about his pay-per-view matchup against A.A.W. And so, Aries does hold the point right there. But as we go into what happened earlier on in the SmackDown pre-show, we move on to what happened earlier on tonight in Velocity. As we, of course, had 2 matches. And so, ladies and gentlemen, the first one being between these two, Big Show and one of 6 men who is going to be in the Money in the Bank SmackDown ladder match, Samoa Joe. Of course, the only Money in the Bank ladder match in the Bound for Glory pay-per-view because it's specifically SmackDown Superstars who will be parading it because it's a SmackDown exclusive pay-per-view. Well, ladies and gentlemen, of course, Big Show, he has defeated many great wrestlers, one of them including kazuchika Okada, in which where he had a whole series of matches against Okada, and I believe Okada only won like 1 or 2, and Big Show won the rest, I believe, out of like 4 or 5 meetings, perhaps I think 4 or 3 to be fair. So Big Show, I think he actually did win more matches than Okada in their whole series, and Samoa Joe, he lost his rivalry in the beginning of Universe mode to Cesaro. I believe he lost it. Let's see right there. That one simple kick right to the sternum, perhaps, of Big Show will get Samoa Joe the victory and more momentum. And also, he's going to be the only Money in the Bank contestant who actually gets showcased here tonight. As the other 5 are off resting, Samoa Joe just had one Pacific matchup that he was booked in Velocity. And so, he gets to rest for the next couple of days before the pay-per-view. But moving on, ladies and gentlemen, because another thing, we're also going to have at pay-per-view the NXT Championship that Chavo Guerrero challenges, well, the man's father he faced off against. He faced off against Curtis Axel earlier on in the night before the show started. And ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Perfect, of course, the NXT champion, number one contender, of course, Chavo Guerrero. This has been established in the first 2 episodes of Superstars lately. And so, ladies and gentlemen, once the NXT roster / brand gets its own show after the Bound for Glory pay-per-view, beginning in week 15, definitely should be exciting. And so, whether if it's Chalo or whether if it's Mr. Perfect who comes out champion, we shall see what happens there. But Curtis Axel, he actually surprisingly gets a victory for his father against, well, his father's #1 contender for the NXT Championship. As you see right there, Chavo Guerrero then counted out by Curtis Axel. A. Guerrero, of course, in the Money in the Bank ladder match, as well as we shall announce the Money in the Bank ladder match participants later on tonight. And also, ladies and gentlemen, what happened earlier on tonight in Velocity, Cruiserweight champion Seth Rollins, he would be defending his championship against the Bruiserweight Pete Dunne. Of course, a couple of weeks back, Seth Rollins did cut a promo acknowledging that he is the real Bruiserweight, and Pete Dunne is not a real Bruiserweight. Self-proclaimed, at least to Rollins. And so, ladies and gentlemen, see that Rollins will vicious attack, multiple steel chair shots right across the back, right across every body part of Pete Dunne. And as you see right here, the final touch, the final kiss of death, so to speak. As you see right there, the pedigree right through the tail, backstaged. And ladies and gentlemen, as soon as Rollins left the area, medical staff had to attend to Pete Dunne. It has been announced that he is still going to be able to compete at the Bound for Glory pay-per-view, but he may be a little bit weakened after that pedigree straight through the table. But needless to say, that's what happened earlier on in the night in Velocity. Moving on, ladies and gentlemen, to your first matchup, non-title action. As we have the first ever United States Champion of Humorous Mode, Hiroshi Tanahashi, taking on the man who defeated him in the Triple Threat Open Challenge at the Live from the MSG pay-per-view back in Week 8. So, Hiroshi Tanahashi, he takes on current United States Champion Jack Swagger. And so, of course, Swagger, I don't know, run out of words here, but of course, Swagger, he did win the Open Challenge. It was Tanahashi, Aries, and Swagger was the one who answered the Open Challenge, so he could be the third member in the slot. And, well, Swagger, he did win. And Austin Aries, prior to that, he got counted out on 2 separate occasions, in the No Surrender pay-per-view back in Week 6, and then in a SmackDown episode in Week 7, where he did get counted out. Both occasions, the pay-per-view and the SmackDown after in the rematch clause. But Austin Aries later then wins a #1 contenders match after Swagger wins the Triple Threat a couple weeks later, and so Austin Aries challenging for the United States Championship again, especially since Austin Aries, he did win against, I believe, like 5 other opponents, one of them including John Cena. So, of course, that was very, very impressive of Austin Aries to win a matchup with 5 other superstars in it in the main event of, like, SmackDown Week 9, I believe. I don't know, I can't fully remember. It was a couple of weeks back on SmackDown. Well, of course, ladies and gentlemen, Tanahashi, Swagger. Interesting contest here. Got the contrasting styles, the grapple ability, the amateur wrestling background of Swagger against the great 5-star ability of Hiroshi Tanahashi. But a triangle for the United States Championship, it really is, between Swagger, Tanahashi, and Aries. Currently, it's going to be Swagger and Aries. And ladies and gentlemen, SmackDown rolls on. And ladies and gentlemen, we are back in SmackDown. And now Hiroshi Tanahashi up top, high fly flow. He has hit his finisher into a pin. 1, 2, and only a 2 count. Of course, if Tanahashi is to win this non-title contest, definitely got to think he is up next in contention for the United States Championship, which brings into play that whole triangle effect we've been talking about for the U.S. title between Swagger, Tanahashi, and Aries. But we shall see what happens at the pay-per-view a couple of days away. Anyway, now Swagger, multiple full Nelson suplexes, has him, trying to do a double unhook suplex. Not able to fully chain all those together is Jack Swagger. Trying to do it again, but no. As see there, Tanahashi countering with the Bulldog moments ago. Swagger trying to fight back with a couple kicks right there. Tanahashi caught him for a second, decides to let go. Trying to plan something else is Hiroshi Tanahashi, one of the best wrestlers in the world today. SmackDown definitely has the best roster of women, of tag teams, and of just pure wrestling talent and ability in general. More than Raw, more than A.A.W. As either Swagger off the ropes gets caught by Tanahashi. Hiroshi Tanahashi, nice way to just chain the small drop into the side headlock takedown. Nicely done by Tanahashi. Off the ropes goes Tanahashi now, and baby suplex gets delivered straight to him by Jack Swagger. You're a United States Champion. Swagger taunting to the crowd, taunting to Tanahashi as well. Nice snapmare. And Swagger, what's he trying to do? Well, he almost got caught, but able to counter with the snapmare moments ago. Has him double on hook tiger suplex to Tanahashi. Has him again full Nelson suplex. Has him again. Another full Nelson suplex into the pin. Nicely done. Sticks with only a 1 count for Swagger. Ladies and gentlemen, SmackDown here tonight definitely going to have a pretty good card. Especially your main event, Ziggler and Austin Aries here tonight. And same like Raw and A.A.W had their women's showcase, we're going to have our women's showcase here tonight on SmackDown, as we have 7 women on the roster currently. And Jack Swagger picks up victory with the Patriot Lock. So Swagger picks up victory with his finisher against Tanahashi. Proves to us why he deserves to hold the National Championship. Well, of course, ladies and gentlemen, talking back to the NXT brand, it shall come after the Bound for Glory pay-per-view, which is in week 15. First show will be in week 15. Well, basically, week 15 is when we're going to have the NXT pay-per-view. So, not pay-per-view, but show. I don't know, stumbling over my words. Well, ladies and gentlemen, tag team action between the New Day, respectively Kofi Kingston and Big E of the New Day, as they take on these two behemoths in the Great Khali and Mark Henry. Because we haven't showcased Henry nor Khali all that much, to be fair. So, that's that, I guess. And of course, checking back at this, R-Truth and Kofi Kingston were a tag team, like I've mentioned in many episodes of SmackDown and when we were doing Velocity, full shows of Velocity. But of course, I just also decided to actually put Kingston in the tag team with the New Day, because R-Truth and Kingston and only Xavier Woods and Big E for a New Day, to me, doesn't really necessarily make all that much sense. So R-Truth, he's now a singles competitor, and Kofi Kingston is just part of the New Day. Of course, New Day, they're going to have their number 1 contenders SmackDown tag title matchup against the Young Bucks, since for like the longest time ever, we've been having a whole bunch of series of 1-on-1 matches between them. And I believe we had a tag team matchup before we even start the whole 1-on-1 series between them. So the Young Bucks, they take on, respectively, Xavier Woods and Big E of the New Day, because that's how it started. That's how the rivalry started. And so we shall see who becomes number 1 contenders for SmackDown Tag Team Championships at the Bound for Glory pay-per-view. But also, ladies and gentlemen, the club, the newest members, the newest tag team to the SmackDown roster, Karl Anderson and Luke Gallows, they did lose their first matchup. I believe it was a non-title match against DX, or it could have been against a different tag team. They did lose it. Yeah, it was a non-title contest. I believe it was an open challenge or something that I can't even remember. But then on Superstars, it was a number 1 contenders matchup between the New Day and Anderson and Gallows. And so, Anderson and Gallows, they won that. And so, basically, if the New Day were to win, they will face off against DX before the Young Bucks would, and it will be Anderson and Gallows replacing the New Day in the number 1 contenders matchup for the SmackDown Tag Titles, and they'll face off against the Young Bucks. It'll be Bullet Club Tag Team versus Bullet Club Tag Team. But yeah. Anyway, besides that, calling back to the action, you gotta think here. You definitely have two amazing contrasting styles here between the Great Khali and Mark Henry, two just behemoths, two powerhouses of the wrestling world, respectively the SmackDown brand. And we got High Flyer Kofi Kingston, and then we got another powerhouse, but not as big, in, well, Big E. And of course, Xavier Woods probably lurking backstage, watching on, cheering on his 2 teammates against these 2 monsters that are the Great Khali and Mark Henry. Almost like Bros Clay and Tensai for ECW. But of course, those 2 tag teams not showcased on much. Henry and Khali not showcased on much. I believe the last time Henry and Khali were in the matchup was against rivals John Cena and Chris Hero. Cena, of course, did win his rivalry against Chris Hero, then them having to tag team in a tag matchup 1 or 2 weeks after the rivalry ended. And so we haven't seen from Cena since after he defeated Hero in the rivalry, and Chris Hero, he hasn't been showcased all that much. But ladies and gentlemen, just for use of actually showcasing his amazing talent, we are going to put him in the match up against Kazuchika, Okada, and I believe that matchup is next if I check the match card, but I'm too lazy to. So yeah, that's that, I guess. Well, anyway, ladies and gentlemen, Henry taking down Kofi Kingston, and don't turn away as SmackDown rolls on. And yes, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to SmackDown, the final SmackDown before the SmackDown exclusive Bound for Glory pay-per-view, and the first, well, this is SmackDown week 14, so this is only one SmackDown a week, so I don't know what I'm saying, the first SmackDown of week 14. Well, anyway, moving on. as we continue on with this tag team matchup. Mark Henry and the Great Khali versus Kofi Kingston and Big E. During the commercial break, it's mostly been Henry and Khali absolutely demolishing Kingston as they have made back-to-back tags against Kingston in and outside the ring. Big E has not been able to get inside the matchup at all during the commercial break, during the 4 minutes of commercial break when we were away, because this match was a total of 12 minutes and stuff like that, I guess. This match was a total of 12 minutes and 12 seconds in the original video, so yeah, we're shrinking this down because I'm too lazy to actually do some voiceovers for this whole episode, because I don't want it to end up being like an hour and I don't have enough space because I don't want to delete other stuff. Anyway, moving on. And Kingston did not make the tag to Big E. Not sure how wise of Kofi that is, and as he has been taking a whole lot of damage throughout this matchup. And now Henry almost getting the victory right there, tagging into Great Khali. Exactly what I was talking about. Khali and Henry have tagged in multiple times, countless times, for the 4 minutes of commercial break when we were away. It has been in and it has been outside of the ring, where they have absolutely demolished and just destroyed Kofi Kingston. And Kingston has not even tagged in Big E once during the matchup. Not even once. And that was perhaps his closest to actually tagging in Big E moments ago. And he just didn't do it, or Big E did not accept it. Something happened. Not less to say, Kingston not doing so well in this matchup. Great Khali and Mark Henry definitely could win this one. Well, in the Bound for Glory pay-per-view, it shall be Xavier Woods and Big E, so hopefully that'll be some better chemistry, but we shall see what happens at the pay-per-view. But first, we need to go through the joint branded Raw, SmackDown, and ECW Superstars show, like always. And so, ladies and gentlemen, we shall see what happens there. As SmackDown's Pacific thing that's going to happen is going to be specifically Nick Jackson of the Young Bucks taking on Xavier Woods of the New Day, and that is SmackDown's matchup in Superstars before the Bound for Glory pay-per-view. That is SmackDown's specific matchup. Hopefully it will outlast Raw's and ECW specific matchups, and not to mention, never mind, it's not going to be the main event Superstars. I thought it was. It's not. Okay, anyway, just had to check back the match card for a second. Okay, well, let's see right there. Henry and Khali still demolishing Kingston, and Kingston gets slammed right on the ring apron. Hardest part of the ring apron is, well, at least apparently it is. I feel like the ring post is probably the hardest part of the ring apron. I mean, the hardest part of the ring, but whatever. And now Khali just taking him down, choke slamming to a collarbone slam. And Kingston taking down Mark Henry, trying to fight back against Khali, in which he does. The big man is busted open after like a slap or something, but now Mark Henry upper hand on Kofi Kingston. Kingston usually could use a speed advantage in matches like these, especially against these two big men, but not going to fully work out as he has been absolutely demolished, and it's probably most likely exhausted for the whole time continuum that this match has actually been happening. And Kingston taking down Great Khali with Bulldog. Khali not going to sell it like he didn't feel none. Off the ropes goes Kingston. Khali now getting tagged in back-to-back tags, frequent tags. It's been like over 10 frequent tags, including this and including during the commercial breaks for 4 minutes that we were in break, and exactly how it's went. All added up to probably a total of more than 10 frequent back-to-back tags between Henry and Khali. So definitely impressive tag team work. Their win against John Cena and Chris Hero a couple of weeks ago, probably mostly a couple months ago now, because to be fair, this Universe mode has been going on for like 3 or 4 months, and we've only gone to 14 weeks because I'm too lazy. So yeah, it should be 4, 8, 12. It should be like 16 weeks, to be fair. 4, 8, 12, 6. Yeah, it should be 16 weeks. Well, anyway, not less to say, Great Khali makes Kofi Kingston tap out to the bear hug. Kingston didn't tag in Big E before the match started. Well, in the beginning of the match, the middle of the match, which was the break, and now the ending of the match after the break. So, ladies and gentlemen, New Day, not all that functional, but we shall see what Xavier Woods and Big E do later on in the Bound for Glory pay-per-view in the next couple of days. Well, now let's say Chris Hero 1-on-1 against this man, the Rainmaker, Kazuchika Okada, another of one of the greatest damn professional wrestlers in the whole entire world, and we are happy to have him over here on SmackDown He hasn't really been all that impressive, though. He has gotten a couple of victories against Big Show and others, I believe, but Big Show did actually defeat him more in the rivalry, I believe. I also believe that Okada, he did lose his Money in the Bank qualification matchup in like week 11, I believe. I believe it was probably week 11, and he did lose to, well, former contender for the World Heavyweight Championship. He did lose to Ryback. Of course, Ryback was in contention for the World Heavyweight Championship back in the beginning of the Zoomer's mode, and he did challenge in triple threat for the championship in week 6 of the No Surrender SmackDown exclusive pay-per-view between himself, Dolph Ziggler, and, well, Aleister Black for the vacant World Heavyweight Championship. Of course, SmackDown General Manager Jim Cornette did announce the matchup. That was in the beginning of Zoomer's mode, back when Cornette actually showed up to the shows, but now he's been doing a whole lot of the stuff behind the scenes. He hasn't really been showcased all that much, along with Paul Heyman, who hasn't really been showcased all that much either, and he's the ECW General Manager, and nor has really Raw's General Manager Eric Bischoff. The General Managers, they were showcased a whole lot in the beginning of Zoomer's mode. Not all that much currently, probably because I'm too lazy to actually put a segment with them, because reasons. I don't know. Well, anyway, moving on from that, as I broke kayfabe. Kayfabe's dead anyway. I said that so many times in this channel. Anyway, see right there, German suplex by Okada. Imagine how much momentum it will be for either one of these two men to get victory against over and there. This brings Chris Hero to just escape him losing his rivalry against John Cena. See right there. Okada just doing the powerbomb suplex. I believe that's what we have as Chris Hero's finisher. And the reverse Hurricane Rana. Reverse Dragon Rana. Or Poison Rana. I can't remember what it's called. But now let's just say Chris Hero loses. And Kazuchika Okada gets his momentum back on track. Much and well needed. Especially after getting buried by talents with the likes of Big Show and Ryback. Which we're pushing Ryback. Big Show is just going to be here just for use of having him. And we are going to send away some SmackDown superstars, some Raw superstars, and some ECW superstars over to NXT, along with creating new superstars to go into NXT, because we need to do some roster cuts. Not as to say, Kevin Owens takes on one half of the SmackDown Tag Team Champions, Triple H. Of course, DX SmackDown Tag Champions, they defend their titles against Anderson and Gallows. And ladies and gentlemen, Kevin Owens. Well, wait, what? Ladies and gentlemen, that's Hideo Itami. Itami now. Hideo Itami just attacking Kevin Owens. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I guess this is all fair. This is all fair in games, I guess, because Kevin Owens, he did attack Hideo Itami a couple weeks back in like SmackDown Week 10, once Hideo Itami debuted on SmackDown in a live event, specifically in the SmackDown matchup back in December. As you see right now, Hideo Itami sent a message to Owens. The Owens and Itami matchup was already supposed to have an Bound for Glory, but we could have it early here at GTS by Itami. To Kevin Owens has him up again, a second GTS for good measure, and this time Owens stays down. Ladies and gentlemen, your Triple H versus Kevin Owens matchup has officially been postponed. Of course, Owens did have a matchup against Shawn Michaels a couple weeks back, in which he defeated Michaels, and then, of course, attacked Triple H, hitting the pedigree through a table. Well, of course, ladies and gentlemen, here's your Money in the Bank ladder match from left to right. Eddie Guerrero, James Storm, Ryback, Antonio Cesaro, or just Cesaro, since he's going to be Antonio Cesaro in A.A.W. GM mode, Jay Lethal, and Samoa Joe. All 6 of those men will climb the ladder, win the Money in the Bank briefcase. Not really, because we can't do ladder matches in this game, so it's going to be a to-the-death type thing. I don't know. But that's how it's going to work out. Anyway, as we now showcase the women of the SmackDown roster, and ladies and gentlemen, all 7 of these women, this is why SmackDown does have the better roster in general, better tag teams, better women, and a better mid-card and main roster, main event look. Charlotte Flair, Alexa Bliss, Carmella, Sasha Banks, Naomi, Mickie James, and AJ Lee. 7 women for SmackDown compared to 6 that Raw has and 6 that ECW has. But of course, ECW, they do have great talents like Asuka, Nia Jax, and they do have their first ever ECW Women's Champion as of when we did the live event a couple of days ago in Sonya Deville, who overcame the likes of Asuka and Nia Jax, Velvet Sky, Paige, and Lita in ECW. So that's how that worked out. That was interesting. And of course, Raw, they have women like Becky Lynch, Awesome Kong, Trish Stratus, and I forgot the other 3, but that's how that worked out. Okay, screw this. I'm just going to quickly try to check back. They also got Nikki Bella, Bailey, and China. So that's Raw's women's division. I know it's not that much women in each roster. I feel like I should have like 8 women in each brand just so it could be evened out, but we shall see how that works out. So we need 2 more for Raw, 2 more for ECW, 1 more for SmackDown, because I probably may or may not be biased towards SmackDown being the better roster, because I don't know, those were just the draft results in the beginning of Humor's Mode. Of course, women now being showcased as of week 14, because I feel like it's going to be weird if we just don't have women showcased at all, especially since in the original GWE universe, a couple of months back, it's about to be a whole year. Well, now let's say Charlotte, she gets eliminated. First one eliminated in this matchup, as we're doing the same thing that Raw did. Raw did a 6-woman battle royal. ECW did a 6-woman tag team match between their faces and their heels. SmackDown, we're doing a 7-woman battle royal. And of course, ECW already has their ECW Women's Champion due to the second ECW Women's matchup they had, and it was in the live event between Raw, SmackDown, and ECW a couple days ago. Since the live events only have the December one had 8 matches, had multiple SmackDown Raw matches. See right there, AJ and Naomi got eliminated both at the same time. I wasn't even paying attention at that point, my bad. Well, now let's say AJ Naomi, and Charlotte Flair, 3 eliminated. Sasha Banks, Carmella, Alexa Bliss, and Mick James, the final 3. Alexa almost got eliminated, and well, Sasha Banks and Mick James, they're testing it out. Alexa and Carmella, they're having their own little tiny rivalry going on. Both Mickey and Sasha missed the dropkick, and Mickey throws Sasha Banks out the ring. We are now down to 3. Carmella, Alexa Bliss, and Mick James. Shall be pretty interesting. Of course, whoever wins, perhaps, I don't know, they have more momentum to try and win the SmackDown Women's Championship, I guess. Although this is not for the women's title, but I don't know. I'm having a blank moment. I don't know. This is just to see who has more momentum, I guess, in the end of the day. Well, ladies and gentlemen, don't turn away. And don't stop watching the video. Especially don't stop watching the video, because I need some higher YouTube statistics. Although I really have a pretty good amount of minutes added up in total in the month. Anyway, now let's say SmackDown rolls on. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. As, 4-minute commercial break. Of course, we basically trimmed the video down to 4 minutes. But anyway, not enough to say, still the same 3 women in this matchup. These are why I do the commercial breaks, because I don't want these matches to be all that long. Anyway, Mick James, Carmella, Alexa Bliss, all 3 of these women still in this matchup. Of course, the previous 4 eliminated was Charlotte Flair, AJ Naomi, and I don't know, I feel like I'm missing one. I don't know, I haven't blamed one. Well, the punch by Carmella. Alexa Bliss went flying halfway across the ring. No, more than halfway. And now Carmella, nails the elbow drop. Thought that was going to be more anticlimactic. Thought that was going to be like the X-Hand or something. Now let's say it gets the job done, I guess. Anyway, of course, one of these 3 women is going to, of course, win this matchup. Of course, because we can't have a tie, can we? We could. What if they both got eliminated? I'm trying to brainstorm here. That'd be interesting. Well, of course, ladies and gentlemen, since this is, I guess we could try and have an impromptu matchup with the women of the SmackDown roster in the Bound for Glory pay-per-view, but the pay-per-view card is already stacked with I need to check. 7 matches. Decent enough. We could add an 8th one, being the impromptu women's matchup, but no, because they'll have to tie into something. And the Battle Royal is not going to necessarily bring up a whole lot of storyline besides these 3 women fighting, because they've been fighting forever. And none of them have gotten eliminated, except for perhaps now, never mind. Mick James hanging on there, not getting body slammed outside the ring. And now Carmella, once again, off top rope. This time she misses it. Miss Money in the Bank in real life. Well, not going to have a Money in the Bank matchup. A woman's Money in the Bank matchup. Not going to have it in Humor's Mode just yet. And especially no to the Women's Royal Rumble matchup, because no, that's gonna be a pain to do. Then again, we have enough storylines to do. The Royal Rumble is going to be the 10th pay-per-view. Bound for Glory is the 6th pay-per-view. because we've now done roster cuts. No more brand exclusive Raw, A.A.W, SmackDown pay-per-views, because the original pay-per-view count was 24 or 25. That's way too much. So we were able to shrink it down. The first 6 stay, and then now shrink down to 6 more being brand exclusive. And let's just say one of these next 6 pay-per-views are going to be, I don't know, let's see, have 3 parts to it, because it's going to be specifically 3 days, because organization reasons for one of them. Anyway, Brainbuster by Alexa to Carmella, and now Mick James with the grab scuba roll up. That's not going to help out in this situation. And there goes Mickey James, getting eliminated from the gut wrench suplex of all moves by Alexa Bliss. Both these two women are bloodied up here. And ladies and gentlemen, pretty much a very grueling women's matchup. You don't see too many women's matches where women have bled. I believe, I don't know, besides Lita breaking Trish Stratus's face in like 2004 or something like that. And and that was just a broken nose. I don't know, can't remember. I really can't. Now let's just say, final 2, Alexa Bliss and Carmella. Which one of these two will walk out here tonight? Though Victor and, well, almost Carmella right there. That was for sure going to be it. And now, Alexa Bliss trying to escape the full Nelson, in which she does. Well, whoever wins definitely gets one step closer to winning the SmackDown Women's Championship, and that is now, perhaps, most likely Carmella, because, well, ladies and gentlemen, she easily gets the victory by eliminating Alexa Bliss. So that's that. But now let's say great effort by all 7 of those women. And well, speaking of though, because ladies and gentlemen, John Cena, he is back in action. He returns after his whole rivalry with Chris Hero a couple weeks back in the beginning of Humorous Mode, and then he just decided to take time off because we don't know what to do with him. So, ladies and gentlemen, he returns and he has his first matchup back next week in SmackDown, week 15, but neither less to say. Your main event finally has arrived here on SmackDown. Number 1 contender for the World Title, Dolph Ziggler, takes on number 1 contender for the United States title, the greatest man to ever live. It's A.A.W. It is Austin Aries, and he makes his entrance. He makes his way to the ring here tonight on SmackDown, along with this man, perhaps one of the hardest working superstars in this whole damn roster, and if not the hardest working, is the show off. It is this man. It is Dolph Ziggler. He takes on Aleister Black for the World Heavyweight Championship at the Bound for Glory pay-per-view, along with Austin Aries challenging Jack Swagger for the United States Championship. And ladies and gentlemen, this match shall continue once SmackDown rolls on. Don't turn away. And ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. This is SmackDown. This is the best show of the week. Better than E.C.W., better than Raw, and even better than our joint branded superstars. And the only thing good about superstars is the SmackDown Pacific matches. Well, ladies and gentlemen, this is the best brand. This is SmackDown. This is Dolph Ziggler versus Austin Aries. A serious Ziggler off top rope with the clothesline right to A.A.W. And the shooting star press to Aries as well into a cover. Hook the leg. 1, 2, and no. Austin Aries, of course, very resilient. So is Dolph Ziggler. Dolph Ziggler, many matches here in Humorous Mode, many wins, many losses. Austin Aries, couple matches here in Humorous Mode, not all that good. 2 losses, 1 win. Or 3 losses, 1 win, or 3 losses, 2 wins. I don't know. It's been confusing with him trying to challenge for the United States Championship, and he's been the only one who's actually been number 1 contender besides Jack Swagger, and that was a random open challenge thing. And 20% in battery health. That was a long time ago. That was earlier on in the day, because I'm too lazy to actually do a voiceover for these once I'm finished doing it. But yeah. Anyway, now less to say, ladies and gentlemen. Main event of SmackDown, of course, your World Heavyweight Champion, Aleister Black. He's going to be off for the show today. He's off training, preparing for his upcoming bout against the show-off Dolph Ziggler. And, of course, you definitely have to prepare and train yourself against such a greatly high-skilled and definitely skillful, and I'm trying to find the word. I'm just going to say veteran. Highly experienced. Yes, highly experienced wrestler like Dolph Ziggler. As Ziggler, Austin Aries with the body slam straight to Dolph Ziggler. Austin Aries to Dolph Ziggler, my bad. And now spin punch discus forearm into the pin. One. Only a 1 count. Surprisingly enough, one of Austin Aries, that's one of his best moves. The discus forearm, also known as the spin punch, or the discus punch, whatever you want to call it. Many names for it, depending TNA, it depends, it really does depend. Anyway, now Ziggler has him, nails the leaping DDT into a pin. 1, 2, Ziggler almost having the victory right there. Has him sunset flip into a pin. 1, 2, no. Austin Aries, he's getting rocked here, gets drilled down to the ground by Dolph Ziggler. And of course, like what Ziggler caught himself on when the show started, Dolph goddamn Ziggler. And Austin Aries, well, he did point out to Ziggler that he doesn't have to focus on Aleister Black just yet, because he has to focus in his match at hand, which is facing off against Austin Aries himself in the main event of SmackDown. And ladies and gentlemen, that was minutes ago, because SmackDown is now, well, this is now your main event. I don't know, I'm stumbling over my own words. 450 splash once again by Aries. He did many of those during the commercial break, at least one, I believe. And now, Brainbuster! Austin Aries, he's hit his finisher. This one could finish Ziggler. Only a 2 count. Dolph Ziggler kicked out. He kicked out. That 2 super kick to the back of the head. Ziggler's signature. Has him trying to do a zigzag. He does it. Austin Aries not going to sell the zigzag. Aries got up as soon as Ziggler did the zigzag. Especially after he flew halfway across the ring from a super kick to the back of the head, like that one there, but that one didn't have as much force. Shooting star press by Ziggler, barely connects with Aries. Dolph Ziggler now on fire here, and super kick. Once again, super kick. Super kick. Super kick. 4 super kicks in a row. 5, 6 super kicks in a row. Why is this man not in Bullet Club in real life or in this game? And the shooting star press, mostly because the Young Bucks and Aronson and Gallows are specifically Bullet Club on SmackDown. We still need the mystery Bullet Club member to come to Raw. That's been advertised since the beginning of Universe Mode for Raw, along with Brock Lesnar coming to Universe Mode, but I'm too lazy to actually advertise those anymore because it's pretty much forgotten about, but we'll still do it either way. I don't know. And of course, Finn Balor and Cole specifically on the ECW roster, along with Kenny Omega as well. Kenny Omega, of course, is their current ECW Hardcore Television Champion, as he successfully retained his title in the Sin pay-per-view in the triple threat against both the man who defeated him in a non-title matchup, Test, and former champion Taz. Aries now on the verge of being counted out, and he makes it back to the ring. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the problem with Austin Aries and his matches. His United States title match against Hiroshi Tanahashi at the No Surrender pay-per-view, he lost via countout, so therefore Tanahashi wins the matchup. Well, both him and Tanahashi were actually counted out, so both him and Tanahashi lost the matchup, but Tanahashi retains the title due to countout rules. And then the next night on SmackDown, in their rematch, when Aries used his rematch clause against Hiroshi Tanahashi, it was Austin Aries who got counted out, along with Hiroshi Tanahashi again. And if not, I believe it was Tanahashi by himself who got counted out this time. And Tanahashi therefore wins and retains his championship once again. And then in week 8, no disqualification rules, triple threat between Aries and Tanahashi, along with an open challenge that Tanahashi did announce. And there was going to be any member who was on the SmackDown roster or hasn't debuted on the SmackDown roster yet. And that man was Jack Swagger. And then Swagger won by, I believe, making Austin Aries tap out to a side headlock takedown. That was back when we were doing CPU simulated matches like GWE, which is about to be a year old once we get into like April or May. But anyway, not else to say. That's how that happened. And then Austin Aries went in a whole 6-pack challenge to become number contender. One of those men who won the 6-pack challenge was John Cena. It was John Cena, Jinder Mahal. I believe it was Kazuchika Okada. Probably, I believe so. I can't fully remember. Not to say, it was a pretty decent main event. Austin Aries ultimately won. Anyway, now, focusing back at the matter of hand. Like Austin Aries said, Ziggler has to focus on earlier on before SmackDown even officially started. Let's see here, nice DDT. Leaping DDT once again to carry 2 count for Austin Aries. For Dolph Ziggler, close to a 3, and another leaping DDT. Ziggler again, and another one to Austin Aries to pin. 1, 2. That was a very long 2 count. And now Aries in deep trouble against Dolph Ziggler. And another shooting star press, like the third or fourth one in this matchup, perhaps even the fifth. And off the ropes, misses the swanton. Aries misses the discus forearm the first time, gets it the second time. Has him up, brainbuster, nope. And, well, Ziggler tried to counter with a dragon screw. Aries got out of that mid-move, super kick to the back of the head. Dolph Ziggler sending it up, perhaps more super kicks on the way. Another super kick. And now Aries, he caught him, trying to just suffocate him with that submission hold. Not going fully doing Ziggler, and another leaping DDT. This has been Ziggler's bread and butter here. Those leaping DDTs and those super kicks have worked out fairly well for Dolph Ziggler in this matchup. Of course, Jack Swagger defeated first ever United States Champion Hiroshi Tanahashi. See there, Austin Aries flying halfway across the ring from a super kick. Another super kick by Ziggler. Another one. Perhaps a fourth one in a row for this specific one. Perhaps. Austin Aries struggling to get up. And a fourth one right there to A.A.W. Austin Aries, the greatest man to ever live. Perhaps taking the greatest super kicks to ever hit his face. Of course, besides Shawn Michaels, which Shawn Michaels has never actually delivered a sweet music to Austin Aries. That would be awesome. And another super kick. And now Ziggler has him off the ropes. Goes Aries. Has him zigzag off of the ropes. And after 4 or 5 super kicks in a row, that one is it. Good night, Austin Aries. And the show off, Dolph Ziggler comes out here tonight with a victory. He comes out with the W in this final show before Bound for Glory, the go-home show of SmackDown. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you all for watching SmackDown Week 14. This was the go-home show for the Bound for Glory pay-per-view. Next up is Superstars, and then we shall move on to SmackDown's Bound for Glory pay-per-view. Now, let's say great matchup between these two men, between Ziggler and Austin Aries. We shall see if Aries is to win the United States Championship that he has been trying to win since like week 6. So we shall see what happens at the Bound for Glory pay-per-view. And we also shall see the Aries Black and Dolph Ziggler matchup, the Money in the Bank ladder match between those 6 men that we showcased earlier. I'm not gonna say the names because I want to try and save space for this video. Anyway, thank you all for watching. Many more matches to come in the Bound for Glory pay-per-view that we're not going to announce here because we're going to do a match card. Thank you all for watching, and goodbye.